Hollywood stars, it's Mrs. Woram. I'm going to read to you one of my favorite books so far. It's Toby's story. We're currently on chapter 10. If you haven't been reading with us, you could go back and listen to the other chapters. This is a really great story. This is for our enjoyment only. We're going to read Toby's story by W. Bruce Cameron, and I have permission from Scholastic to be reading this book to you. So here we go. After breakfast, I wandered into a room with all the couches and took another nap, this time with Dorothy. When I woke up, she had found the little ball again, so we went outside for some throwing. Once we were done with that, I went back inside and greeted all my friends. Some of them had treats for me. But when I got to Granddad's room, I found something better than treats: chicken. He was sitting at a small table by the window eating some chicken from a plate. I was so happy to see him, and his chicken too. I saw right at his foot, waiting for him to just drop down a little piece. I was pretty sure he was getting ready to do it when Tyler walked in. He was walking in a bit slowly, as if his legs were tired. I wagged to show him that I liked him and I was happy he was there, but I needed to stay focused on the chicken for the moment. I was sure he would understand. Toby, I heard Mona call from the hallway. I wagged for her too, but I stayed still, watching the fork move from Granddad's plate to his lips. Toby's in here, I heard Tyler call, but he's a little busy now. Mona came in. She laughed when she saw me raising my head when Grandpa lifted his fork, lowering it when the fork returned to the plate. He knows what's important, Granddad said. Well, I guess he's got a right to be hungry, Tyler said. He ran a couple of miles this morning. Mona and Granddad looked at him in surprise. With the cross-country team, Tyler explained. I figured I should tell you. He snuck out under a hole in the fence this morning and yesterday too. And he ran with us. He loved it. I bet he did. Mona's smile was big. So that's where he was this morning. I called and called. I was getting really worried. Wait, you're on a cross-country team? Tyler shook his head. No way. Not a real team. Just a club for the summer. My mom rented an apartment up here so we can hang out with Granddad more. And there's this club of boys who run every morning. Most of them are on the teams at their schools, staying in shape for track, But they said I could tag along. It's great, really fun. There's something about his voice that sounded odd to my ears. I knew the word fun, but Tyler's voice didn't sound happy. And people usually happy about the word fun. It was strange. Almost as strange as the fact that Granddad kept forgetting to give me some chicken. Oh, that's cool, Mona said. So you're going to be visiting a lot? Every day, Tyler answered. I'm here every day, too. I glanced at Mona. For a moment, her face was doing that funny thing again, where it heated up and got darker. Training Toby. We're really got to work on these skills. Yeah, I heard. Now Tyler's words and his voice were both sad. As soon as I got some chicken, I would have to make them feel better. Mona, I heard Patsy's voice from out in the hallway. I need you for a minute. Okay, Mom, Mona called. I'll be back for Toby soon, she said to Granddad and Tyler. He's got to work on lie still. I glanced at her, but it was clearly not a command because she was already hurrying to the next room. I stayed because, well, the chicken was there. Tyler sat down on the bed. So, how is it here? Now that you're settled in and everything, he asked. Pretty good. No complaints, Granddad said. Now, I like staying with you and your parents, but it could get a bit dull during the day. Your mom and dad work, you at school, nobody around to talk to. Plenty of company here. That's good. Maybe I'll get a girlfriend. At last, he dropped a bit of chicken down for me. I snapped it up, and then he put the fork down. That seemed to mean that the chicken was over. I kept an eye on the plate just in case. So, what about you? Granddad asked. That girl Mona, she's pretty great. You like her, huh? Granddad shrugged. Tyler shrugged. A shrug is not an answer, Granddad told him. That's what Mom says, Tyler replied. He flopped down to lie on his back on the bed. Where do you think she got it from? Granddad said. He and Tyler both laughed. So, Mona? Yeah, all right, I like her. She's cool. You're such a nag, Granddad. I only nag when I'm right. Smart girl like that, pretty, too. She's not going to wait around forever. Take some advice from the old man. You need to tell her how you feel. Yeah, okay, sometime. Tyler laid on the looking at the ceiling as if he was talking to it instead of Granddad. How's the running coming? That's a great idea, the club. You'll be beating the pants off the other kids come fall. Maybe, Tyler said softly. Maybe, for sure. Granddad is not going so good, Tyler said. I'm slow. I'm the slowest on the team. So what? Tyler picked up his head and stared at Granddad. So what? So I'm not going to win any races, that's what. Granddad snorted. Speed? Cross country isn't a sprinter's game, boy. It's about determination. You can't outrun the other boys. Then you beat them with the wind. What does that mean? Granddad twisted his chair so he was looking right at Tyler. They run. You run a little further every time. That's what it means. Pretty soon, you'll be running so far that short race will be a breeze. Tyler sighed, let his head fall back onto the bed. Yeah, maybe, he answered. Tyler left Granddad's room. Not long after that, and Mona came back for me with some more training in the yard. Frankly, it was not very exciting, but things got livelier when the door opened and 3 kids ran out. Patsy was behind. A puppy! A youngest girl shrieked. She was smaller than Mona, in a white dress that puffed and swirled out as she ran. There was a boy a little older, and both of them, I soon discovered, were very good at chase me. The other kid, a girl who was a little older, sat down on the bench with Patsy. Patsy put her arm around the girl and talked to her gently. Toby, Mona called out a little sternly. I stopped my chasing and looked over at her, puzzled. What did she want? Why didn't she come and play too? It's all right, Mona, Patsy said. Let him run. This is the part of Toby's job too. The kids and I played chased me over the grass and around one of the big trees. Mona watched. So did the girl who was sitting with Patsy. Every now and then, the girl rubbed a hand over her face. The littlest girl chased me around the tree, and I spun away from her. She slipped on a patch of wet earth and fell to her hands and knees. I ran back to make sure that she still wanted to play, and I licked her face and chin. She giggled. I tore off again, and she jumped up to follow me with her brother right behind her. Mona had found one of the rubber balls, and she tossed it to the boy. He threw it as hard as he could, which wasn't very far. Even Dorothy could throw it further. But I pounced on it and brought it back, and the little kids took turns throwing it. I was so glad we were given training up for now. This was so much better. One of my trips back with the ball, I caught a familiar scent and looked up to see Fran standing at the doorway. Her eyes grew wide as she looked over the group of us playing throw the ball. Then they grew narrow. Toby, no! Bad dog, she said. I was surprised that I dropped the ball and it bounced on the ground. The little boy ran to get it. What was bad about playing? How could that be bad? My ears went down. My tail drooped. A new man, one I hadn't seen before, was in the doorway behind Fran. She moved aside to let him come onto the lawn with us. The tall girl, the one who had been sitting with Patsy, ran to him and hugged her tightly. Fran turned to them, and her whole body softened. Her face looked tender. I had not seen her look this way before. She always looked so impatient when she looked at me. She gently touched the girl's back and put her hand on the man's arm. I remembered my mother, Sadie, and how she would curl her body around mine when she sensed that I was hurting or needed comfort. I am so sorry for your loss, Fran said to the man and the girl. Even her voice was gentle. My mom isn't suffering anymore, the man said quietly, with his arms still around the girl. That's what's important. The man picked up the ball and threw it to me, and I went after it. He didn't throw it far, though, so I could still hear Fran's words. I didn't understand what they meant, but I understood the tone. She was using her voice to comfort the man, just as my mother had used her body to warmth to comfort me. I'm so sorry about your daughter's dress, too. There's mud all over the front. The man shrugged. It's just mud. It doesn't matter at all. I'm so glad they're playing with the little dog Toby, right? I heard my name and perked my ears up, and I brought the ball back to the boy. I wasn't a bad dog anymore. I felt sure. Whatever I've done wrong, it's over. Honestly, Toby was one of the reasons we picked this facility for my mom's last days, the man went on. Look at the kids. He's helping them so much. This day would have been too sad for all of us without Toby. He is a great dog. My name again. I still had the ball in my mouth, so I ran over to offer it to the man, tail wagging. I could feel and smell that he was sad. If he played a little with us, he'd feel better. He reached down and picked up the ball with one arm still around the tall girl. Then he threw it so hard it soared through the air and bounced off the fence and zigzagged beneath a bush. I dashed off after it. But I could still hear Fran's voice from behind me as I ran. I'm glad you like the dog. Do you want him? She asked. Oh no, what is going to happen? Fran just asked if they want the dog. But Toby can't leave. He's Mona's doggy. I sure hope he doesn't go with them. All right, tell me your predictions, friends. What do you think is going to happen in our story? Do you think he's going to go with that family? Can Fran realize he is actually a good dog? Fingers and toes crossed. All right, friends. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.